Up next is some Berkeley band, I think.
Right. Let's hear a Berkeley band.
Boo.
When you're dying, give it a moment and then smoke the dope. Same old song, yeah, yeah, yeah. Dying, give it a moment and then smoke the dope. Sing it, same old song, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I know, like I know, like I know, nothing in my mind. Like I know, like I know, like I know, nothing in my mind. What's right? You and get your life. That don't get back and wasted. My mind is in my head. The reason I'm going mad and saying it. My mom and dad are sliding. Think it's shit. Like all I can listen. Like I know. Like I know. Like I know. Nothing in my heart. Like I know. Like I know. Like I know. Nothing in my heart. When you die, give it up hope you live in. There's no good dope. Sing it, same old song. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you die, give it up hope you live in. There's no good dope. Sing it, same old song. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I know. Like I know. Like I know. Nothing in my heart. Like I know. Like I know. Like I know. Nothing in my heart. All right.
All right, that is Operation Ivy, who are some band from Berkeley. And in some ways, Operation Ivy are to hardcore what the Specials were to punk rock. And it's sort of a very refreshing, not new approach, but reshuffled approach. And so we have members of this band in the studio here. Guys, why don't you introduce yourselves so they can hear what your voices sound like?
Hi, my name's Lint.
Dave.
Jesse.
Matt. Okay, you got to move up to the mic.
Matt.
Guys. All right.
Dave.
Now they can hear you. All right. So, how long has this been? This idea of how would you term it? Is this ska hardcore happening?
I think since we began, all of us have been into both punk and reggae ska type music, and we didn't start out in our mind saying, well, let's start a ska punk crossover band or anything like that. It's just that's the vibe we're into, and the music just flows naturally. Like when we write songs, we don't think we're going to write a ska song, we just write music.
Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, it's sort of interesting that four of you would sort of flow in that same direction, especially. Well, go ahead.
Well, I don't know. Me and Lint.
Yeah.
Me and Lint had been playing it for a long time, ska and stuff like that. In other bands, other little bands, and then we get together and we met Jesse, and it just so happens that he likes it too, and Dave liked it too, I guess. So I guess it's no big secret. We're just real lucky.
And all right. So actually, how long has this band been in existence? Not very long, right?
Around 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys have come a long way in that short a period of time. Your sound is really, clicking. Even like recently, you played Ramones cover night at Gilman and did some Ramones songs with the same inflection, and that worked really well too. So you really have a sound now, which is pretty amazing.
We've all been in like 4 or 5, 6 bands each, or else, Lint and Matt have been in Basic Rio for a long time. So we're sort of like veterans in that sense.
Well, wait, how old are you guys?
Well, I'm 18.
I don't celebrate my birthday.
Well, I guess the point I'm trying to make is, how can you be
Lint
veterans?
is 47.
Veterans at 18.
I didn't use the word veteran. I think Jesse's a veteran, but
You're
I'm
like
not
a
veteran.
musical Rambo.
Well, how old were you when you were in your first band, Jesse?
I think I was about 12, actually.
Well,
He's
you
a
are
veteran.
You are a veteran. Man.
me and a friend got together and played music into tape recorders, and that's where it all started.
Now, when you guys play live, it's very infectious, and the crowd really gets into it, and usually gets into it, right? I mean, you've had some times where you've been met by perplexed audiences, shall we say?
Yeah. Hey,
What else shall we say?
Sometimes the Socrates comes on stage and tries to beat us up.
that's been a
fun.
problem for us. Isocracy, we've taken a lot of harassment and abuse from them. Really,
Everyone thinks they're so nice.
they're so darn nice. And really, they're a bunch of bullies. As far as the audience response thing goes, it seems like our music is basically pretty happy on stage because we love playing music. We're happy when we're doing it. And I remember one show where we played after Verbal Abuse, RKL, a couple other really good bands who just happen to have a real strong, sort of aggressive, basically, like on the negative emotional scale type edge. And after seeing those bands, people saw us and Lynn's up there going, "Hey guys, let's mosh." And I'm flopping around like an idiot and smiling and like we're doing these goofy ska songs. They just didn't know how to handle it, basically. Which is the only weird response we ever get.
But I mean, despite the fact that your music is happy and there's a lot of motion when you guys play, a lot of movement and stuff. You also have serious lyrics too, or to some extent serious lyrics. But does that work, having such happy music and serious lyrics?
It seemed to work.
Well, I feel like a lot of our the stage presence we have, which is really, really hyper, is like direct communication of the energy behind the music. It's sort of hard to describe, but in a way, because the lyrics are so serious, that's where I get a lot of my energy, because I really feel it. So I don't feel like I'm posing when we jump around or anything. We really feel that the energy of sort of more underground type music,
right?
And it's just like a direct communication of our music, and the lyrics tie into that.
So you guys it's sort of interesting. There seems to be a lot of bands locally simultaneously evolving as you are, and there's a lot of affinity between all these bands. You play together frequently. You go out and play in other areas
in barns,
right?
Barns,
laundromats
together, and it's really a very healthy situation. What I'm trying to say is Jesse did not mean what he said about isocracy, which well, maybe he did mean that, no, which maybe didn't come across on the radio.
Yeah, that was humor.
pure humor.
Or was it?
Besides, they're waiting outside.
Anyway, so what is this that's happening here right now that all these bands seem to be able to cooperate so well? Anybody?
Well,
Skin.
Nope. Don't know the
It's
answer.
I think it's just a big family. A lot of these bands are real close, and I don't know. It's just a big family.
let's be. I'd like to be sure and differentiate the word family from like clique or anything. It's real open. It's just there's a whole bunch of young bands starting, and I think an amazingly large percentage of them have proven to be original, doing something new, energetic, really into it, which has totally revamped my interest for underground music as a whole. Because of that, everybody's just like real excited about especially the local scene that's happening, I think. And totally a lot of real original stuff.
I agree.
I think a lot has to do also with the fact that, you really want to have to do it. When we go out of town a lot of times, there's no money involved at all. And when a bunch of bands go out of town, you're just going out there and having fun, and just playing. We played in a barn in Healdsburg on Saturday, and it was okay. I had an allergic reaction to hay, and my throat swelled up, and I couldn't breathe.
Yeah,
But, I still had a fun time. And there's no egos involved at all. Because we got a couple bucks for gas, which always helps. But otherwise.